Hi, I'm Barry and this is the Hanson leveler valve. The leveler valve is a dual level tank valve to reduce cycling in pumps. The Hanson handy tip today for the leveler valve is always placed close to the manhole, so they're easy to install and easy to maintain. Number two is, as you'll see with the flow, if it's under high pressure, the flow is obviously quite high. So we have put a 32mm thread on the outlet so you can put a diffuser tube down into the bottom of the tank, but always make sure you punch out the anti-siphon holes to stop the tank draining back out through the valve. Everything you need to install the Hanson leveler valve in 32, 40 and 50mm inlets is available in the box. For more information you can go to our website at hansonproducts.co.nz.
Welcome back to New Zealand Dairy Farmer. Gavin Fisher has carried out an expansive program of planting on his Te Aroha organic dairy farm. From fruit trees that contribute to feed to natives that form shade and shelter belts.
You've carried out a lot of planting here on the property, Gavin. What was the purpose of that?
Well, each tree sort of had to tick about 10 boxes actually, and I couldn't see the sense of just putting a tree in for the sake of putting a tree in. So really the obvious ones are shade, shelter, and then there's habitat, browse, so some of the medicinal properties, and cash crop, you know, some of them are nut trees and fruit trees and all that, although they're still shade and shelter, but also nutrient recycling, because some of the roots go down many metres, and through leaf fall and through the cows grazing it is more accessible to some of the minerals that might not necessarily be up there in some of the shorter root zone plants. So you did a lot of research before you decided on what you planted, or was it a bit of trial and error? Probably more trial, and it just sort of go off a bit of gut feel and what I thought was right and stuff like that. I did do a little bit of reading, but reading's not that flash, so I didn't do too much of that. And yeah, we didn't really get it wrong, so that was good. And
what species have done well in particular?
Oh, that's probably a good question. Ones that handle wind here are the ones that I'm looking at the most, because you know we have got poplars and willows which don't handle that so much, but after saying that, it's good fodder as well. Things like some of your natives are pretty good for the wind, but we've got you know, feijoas are a good sort of hedge tree. We've got olives because of the high oil content in them. Because what you can do is actually start secondary planting, so your first ones can be the shelter, and the ones that don't like the wind so much are your secondary planting. So pretty much you can get a whole diversity is what I'm after. So it's about managing it and setting it up right so I can actually plant a whole range, so there's not just one particular tree or two particular trees that you plant.
What about your system? Is it mainly pasture-based for the cows, or you buy in some supplements or grow some crop here they can eat? Yeah,
we do put in a mixed crop. We've sort of done that probably for the last 16 odd years. Quite interesting when we first started doing it, and some of the seed merchants were saying, well, that won't work, because we're doing some experimentation with what we were mixing. But they did work, and now some of the industry talk is some of those crops that we were doing that long ago, so it's funny how things go round.
And when you're talking about the mix of crop you experimented with, what did you find worked the best?
It's not one thing fits all, like that depends what paddock you're doing. So if you understand what your objective is, then that will work best for that. So there's no sort of list, if you like, so people take that away and do that. I think that would be misleading. It's understanding what you're trying to achieve, what that paddock's like, and what the purpose of the crop's for, and then that will be the best what you're putting in there.
You're carrying out a pasture renewal program?
Well, that's getting carried out by itself nearly all the time in aspects to we're on longer rotations. We get a lot of natural seed drop, and even though the neighbourhood at the moment's pretty well fried with the dry weather we've been having, one of the benefits of it is because I'm on along around some of the seed content that's hitting the deck. So when we do get the autumn rains, it's like you've gone and planted all that seed, you know, and it really just takes off and bolts. So that's something that you are renewing it all the time without the cost.
So how is your effluent application differing from what conventional farmers would do?
Maybe one of the things is we're putting it on, and we're not so much looking at, you know, the NPK aspect of it. It's more of the food value of it. And when I say the food value of it, the biggest stocking rate on this property is actually under the ground. So if you look after that, that has a big influence of how that looks after you on top of the surface.
What's your animal health cost per cow?
Well, they sit around the $5 and $6. Even my accountant points that out a few times and underlines that, as he doesn't usually see that because it's so low. I think you know, the industry's around the $100 odd, the average for that, so that's quite a good saving.
That's a big reason for farmers to look seriously at organics.
I think it's well, one of the reasons that you could look at but any business would look at that and think, well, why is it that high if other people can get it down? And what are they doing on farm, and what practices are they doing to achieve that? And if you can achieve that and also get paid a market premium, surely that would be worth looking at.
Where to from here for your herd and the farm?
Well, we want to improve things. I've got lots of ideas that I want to implement, and I'll just keep going on that.
Have you got a 10-year plan or a 20-year plan?
They seem to change a little bit. I've been on, I left secondary school 32 years ago, and apart from going nuts overseas for a couple of years, I've been farming here for 30 years, and plans change as you go along. I enjoy farming more than I ever have, actually, so and I've got all these other ideas to implement, and who knows? Yeah, unknown is quite exciting sometimes.
Coming up next week on New Zealand Dairy Farmer, we visit a small farm near Te Puke that's making a big impact. Waiwai Tutukaiten is owned by the Wharapai Whānau Trust, and we'll catch up with Rehua Smallwood, one of the trustees, plus we'll talk with Doug Leader, former chair of the Ahu Whenua Trophy judging panel, for comments on Maori dairying and its development. We'll see you then. New Zealand Dairy Farmer is proudly brought to you by Hanson Products, providing Kiwi farmers with water system solutions for over 50 years.